Hi, it's Christine with Moonshine Safari and
Anthony with Moonshine Safari.
woo!
Yeehaw.
So we are up to episode 5 of Blood of My Blood. And just as a reminder, we have spoilers for, the Outlander books. So obviously there's no Blood of My Blood books, but the Outlander books and the shows. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you should not listen. You do want to be spoiled, you should listen. Get spoiled. So Blood of My Blood, episode 5, opens up with Ellen, and she's preparing for Beltane, which is essentially like a May Day. It's between the spring and summer solstices, and it's kind of almost like the opposite of the Samhain sort of fall festival. It's sort of a pagan tradition. They get together, they are close to the fairies, they have a king and queen. It's like a May Day tradition. Some of the animals get sometimes painted on and stuff like that.
Halloween.
It's right, but it's May Halloween. So she's getting dressed up, and it looks like she's kind of preparing for a wedding, but it turns out she's preparing for this festival. Okay, so she's going there, and she's supposed to be going there kind of with Malcolm Grant because she is promised to Malcolm Grant, and obviously she's not super happy about that. On the other side of the coin, Julia is also supposed to be going, and she's hoping to use this opportunity to get back to the Stones because she still doesn't know where Henry is. They decide that because of her pregnancy and stuff, she's not going to be allowed to go. Brian doesn't help her. He feels like she's been lying to him, and the Frasers do not like to be lied to. So Brian doesn't want to help her get to the Stones, and so Julia is left back at the castle. But Brian does go to the festival, so we have a meeting of all of the people, except Henry and Julia. During their interaction, clearly Jocasta resents Ellen. So essentially Ellen was kind of the favorite of the daughters with their father, and she seemed to get away with a lot. She was never forced to marry. The other girls were. Jocasta seems to be in a marriage that she's unhappy in, and she resents Ellen for it. She feels like Ellen could have backed her up. There's like a lot of family sort of subtext going on that we never get in the Outlander books because obviously a lot of these people are gone by this point. Jocasta enters later because she's already in America. It's clear when we flip back to Brian and the Lord Lovett situation that Davina, again, still doesn't like Julia. She knows that she was lying about Lord Lovett being the father of Julia's baby because Julia got there pregnant. Davina knows it. Also, she feels like it threatens her son, Brian, because Brian is Lord Lovett's son. And there's a lot of other things going on that we're going to find out later with Lord Lovett, but he is not a nice guy, which we've always known. He's kind of creepy, right?
He gets his.
He gets his in not a good way. He's a creeper. He plays a good... So Jocasta and Ellen are picking at each other, and Brian and Murtaugh are discussing Ellen. Murtaugh still doesn't know that Brian and Ellen have a thing, because obviously Murtaugh
has a thing for
Ellen. Had a thing for Ellen, and actually that is one of the things that becomes clear in the Outlander books and the shows is that Murtaugh always loved Ellen. He always loved Ellen until the end, which is actually one of the reasons why he's really good to Jamie, because she's his son. So anyway, they're going to this giant party. Ellen sees Malcolm Grant, and Henry is asking Ned about the Fae and about Craigna Dun, because also Henry has a goal. Henry has a goal to get back to the Stones. Ned is being asked by Henry about Ellen's purity. Okay, so this information has been brought up already by Lord Lovett. He is trying to smear Ellen's name to make Ellen an unsuitable match for Malcolm Grant, because he does not want an alliance between the Grants and the Mackenzies because it threatens him and his position, or at least that's what he feels. Ned tells Henry, do not trust Lord Lovett. He's a liar, which, is true, but at the same time, there is also something going on with Ellen. It hasn't happened yet, in quotes, but, there's something going on there.
What could it be?
What could it be? Who could it be?
Who? Frank who?
Frank, there is no Frank. There is, but anyway, okay. So, when Ned tells Henry not to trust Lord Lovett, he explains that Lord Lovett was actually accused of the assault of a noblewoman. I don't remember a lot about this later, so I'm going to be curious to how this unplays, because I don't remember this playing out in the books that I remember. I could be missing it. I could be misremembering. Ellen dances with Malcolm, and Brian gets a turn, because, that's those giant dances where they kind of go between different people. I've never done a dance like this, but Brian gets a turn. They try to pretend like they don't really know each other, but they're talking the whole time, of course, and they're trying to arrange to meet together. Okay. Flip back to Lord Lovett, and he is with a psychic, and he is asking questions about the royal ruler that is supposed to come from the line of Lord Lovett, which this is a prophecy, and this little tidbit is going to play out through, I'm sure, the rest of this particular series and all the Outlander books. It's very important. It becomes really important when it comes to who's after Jamie and why they're after Jamie and all that stuff. So there is supposed to be a potential sort of ruler that comes from the line of Lord Lovett, and he thinks it might be the baby that Julie is carrying, which obviously technically isn't his line.
Nah.
So that's not it, but whatever. The psychic also, though, is a little bit afraid of him, and she doesn't want him to hurt her. So she also is trying to appease him while telling him things that are true.
A little bit psychic.
It's a little bit psychic. She sees a great battle, which is kind of obvious that what she's seeing is probably Culloden, just because of all the death and stuff that she is seeing. But keep in mind, there is another rising coming in this time period that is like the 15, I think is what they call it, the first Jacobite rising. And so she could be referring to that. She kind of tells him what he wants to hear. She says he won't get hurt because he wants to hear that. Mm-hmm. And that Julia's baby, she sees another child that Julia has had, and it's a child with dark curly hair. And it's clear that she's actually seeing Claire, okay? But she's seeing Claire far away from Julia, obviously, because Claire is in her own time at this point, and a child. She says that the baby that Julia is carrying is a boy, and the baby is going to be very important. So again, this plays into Lord Lovett's ego and what he wants to hear about the prophecy.
But it probably won't be.
It can't, well, it can't be. It's not possible. So anyway, back to Ellen. She's able to sort of ditch Malcom, which she was trying to do, because, you know, she always does that. You would think at some point he'd get tired of being ditched. But so far he's played a sucker about it a little bit. I'm just saying, okay? She makes a deal with Jocasta for some alone time with Brian. Uh-oh. Bomb chicka wow time. For real. So they get hand fast.
Fast hands.
Well, actually, he's like, you better stop me because I'm not going to be able to stop soon. And it's like, I know, it's that whole thing. So then they get to the hand fast thing, which is a lot like what happens between, spoiler alert, Brianna and Roger later.
Do you promise to marry me? Do you promise to respect me?
Well, we are exactly. Are you gonna respect me tomorrow?
Sure.
Right. So they're handfast. So afterwards, they talk, and she asks about his father. She wants to know, is his father really as bad as everybody makes him out to be? And he's like, yeah, he's kind of a bad guy. In fact, he went on some religious pilgrimage recently because he wanted to see if he could get some clarity on who he is and feel at peace with it. Basically, he's back, and yeah, his dad's a jerk. Archbug actually picks a fight with Murtaugh because it's clear to him that Murtaugh likes Ellen. Archbug is a nasty piece of work. He always is a nasty piece of work, and Murtaugh gets beat up pretty good. So, you know, that's always some fun stuff. Obviously, it's pretty funny that Archbug doesn't see who the real danger is, and that's Brian. So he's missing that part of it. Davina is back too. We go back to Lord Lovett's castle, and Davina is telling Lord Lovett again that Julia cannot be his child's mother. In other words, the child that Julia is carrying is not his child. And he yells at her and he says, you better never ever say this to anybody, and it's going to be bad for you if you do. Mind your business. By the way, I'm going to marry her. Okay. Yeah. Back to Henry and Ned. They are talking about love, and Ned is encouraging Henry to move on from looking for Julia. He says he had a love of his life. He had to let her go. Best thing he ever did. Henry's like, don't care. Not doing it. Stop asking. Pretty clear. Malcolm Grant then approaches Ellen. He says, it's clear to me that he really does like her. Like, he likes her a lot. It's not something that he's just putting on. He gives her something he made for her when they were little. Makes Murtaugh mad, okay? And so then later on, Jocasta finds Murtaugh because Jocasta has this secret burning lovey for Murtaugh. And she finds him and she's trying to help him. And they sort of start having huggy bear kissy face until the moment that Murtaugh calls Jocasta by Ellen's name.
Oh, that's always
ouch.
A romance killer.
Ouch. And she's already like jealous of Ellen, so it doesn't take much to go, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Let's be done.
Good to go, Murtaugh.
I know, nice job, butthead.
You're gonna end up with either one of them.
Exactly. You could have had some happy time, but whatever. No one's asking, okay? At the end, we find Julia again writing to Henry because she writes these letters and then she burns them because there's no other way for her to communicate with him. And she's telling him that it's clear that she feels guilty about what's going on with Lord Lovett, but she also did that to save their child. So to me, it's understandable. I would do whatever I had to do to save a baby. period. I mean, I just would. So I get it. Flip back at the end to the dancers. It's kind of a callback to Outlander and the dancers when the day before Claire goes through the stones. So it's kind of reminding you and drawing you back to that, because a lot of these festivals have a lot of the same type of rituals. They have the dancers, and like I said, it's almost like the same thing as Samhain, but it's the May version of it. At the end, we see Malcom and Ellen being made king and queen of the Beltane festival. Again, they're promised theoretically, but now Ellen is also tied, even though nobody knows it, handfast to Brian. So that's going to play into it as well. And that's how the episode ends. More fun to come. Thanks for checking out the podcast that we're doing. I've been kind of remiss a little bit. We've had some health issues, but I'm trying to get my recordings back up and going. So keep listening. Keep checking out our old ones if you want to see what the old ones were. That's at MoonshineSafari.com. And we have some really other cool stuff going on there as well. You might want to look at it, especially with the holidays coming up.
Yep, we're on Rumble and YouTube,
YouTube.
and MoonshineSafari.com.
Got
Check
Twitter.
us out. Yep.
Yeah. So sometimes I even have been starting to ask questions about some of the stuff in the books that don't make sense to me that I'm hoping she ties up in the last book while we're waiting for that. So anyway,
Yeah, comment
check it
where
out.
you're listening from down below so we know where.
Yeah, we want to hear.
Yeah. And
let us know what we're
if
missing.
you comment on this one, we'll take a drawing on the people who comment and we'll send you a free t-shirt.
Yeah, we have some cool ones. We have some cool Outlander ones
So whoever
too. So
comments,
check
if
it out.
it's just one person, you'll get it.
You'll
If
get
it's
it.
more than one, we will do a random chooser and
Send out
we'll
a shirt.
select.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening.
See ya. Bye.